Gupshup with Gurpreet Sarin.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Gurpreet Sarin, and welcome back to another episode of Gupshup with Gurpreet Sarin. Today we are in New York City with a special guest, Harjas Singh. Harjas, how are you, brother?
Thank you for having me. Doing well. It's funny, we're both not from here, but we're shooting in New York.
So before we started, you mentioned how you were completely lost in the city.
Yeah. I don't understand New York. I mean, I don't know if that's a good thing. I mean, I think I'm just geographically challenged.
He pronounced it Houston instead of Houston.
It looks like Houston. I mean, that would also make sense. Who names something Houston?
Canadians. What can I say? Harjas is an amazing fashion consultant, model, blogger.
Yes.
He likes butter chicken. I saw that on your website. Yeah. And dude, apparently people say we look alike.
So when you were on American Idol,
the
amount of people that posted on, because social media didn't exist to that extent, on Facebook was like, when did you like start singing? When did you end up on American Idol? I'm like, come again? So good. My parents got calls. Like, when did Harjas become a singer? And I'm like, did you guys not read the name? Like, what are we doing here? And so, it was quite interesting. But I mean, I wouldn't mind being your twin. You're a good-looking guy.
You're
I could keep up with you.
You're great looking. We think you could spend the next hour just talking about how much we like each other. Your cousin also told me that I look like you, which is huge because family
Jupna,
thinks.
Yeah. She was very excited to meet you.
It was an honor for me, man, and it's an honor to have you on the show.
I'm very happy to be here. I was really hoping I was going to be like season 1, episode 1.
Oh, dude.
So I'm like a little sad that I'm like season 2, episode something now. I don't know where we're at.
My mother also wanted to be season 1, episode 1. So with any consolation, she still hasn't been.
If I was number 2 to your mom, I'd take it.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Okay, so Harjas, let's get started.
Yes.
Everyone knows you on Instagram. Your company, Styled by Harj, is amazing. Walk us through the very beginning of time. As Harjas Singh. What is your story? Where did you get started?
Yeah, so fashion was kind of a big accident, actually. It wasn't in the game plan. When I was younger, it wasn't in the foreseeable future. I grew up an athlete, so I played a lot of competitive soccer and basketball. That was kind of my confidence, my chip on my shoulder. I used that to try to find myself. And as a young Sadar growing up in a predominant Jewish community, it was very tough. Yeah. It was very tough. We were the only Sadar family there. My brother and my sister were the only other Sadar's children in the area.
Yeah.
My brother has 6 years on me, so we never really connected or crossed over in school. So I didn't really have people that I could connect with directly. And so that was different. But I mean, I enjoyed it because it gave me a chance to be unique and embrace that uniqueness and educate the world on our community's behalf of who we are, what we do, and why we are the way we are. And so that was a really cool responsibility at a really young age that I took on, and it was cool because I was able to use sports to tie that gap and basically bridge those two, the unknown with the known, and give people a little bit of background on us. And so that's kind of the starting bits of it. As most young brown kids, we were pushed into the maths and sciences, and so continued to study. Went to the University of Waterloo. Even at this point, going into university, I mean, in high school, I used to dress like an athlete, like oversized everything.
Baggy clothes.
Nothing fit me properly. That was the style at the time, right? It was the vibe. And so like size 34 pants tucked into my socks, jerseys galore, like it was crazy. Yeah. So
I never tucked anything into my socks, but
I definitely did. I mean, you were with the times, right?
I wore baggy clothes, but I wasn't an athlete. So this is
maybe the crossover.
Yeah.
So no. By the way, I mean, people hear this story and they're like, "We need to see pictures." There's no more pictures. So
of you wearing baggy clothes.
I really hope not.
He's
unless somebody
his
has
whole
them.
life. Yeah.
And so I mean, it was a very different space. And even going into university, the one thing that I had, and I think the one reason why I ended up in the space was I always subconsciously attracted to colors and patterns. So I'd still wear really bright colored jerseys. I'd still love seeing like my dad wear the pattern prints and all the bugs, and he was a very colorful guy himself. And I'd look at other people and I'd see you walking down the street and be like, I really like this, but it's not for me, right, at that time. And then slowly, I had a lot of really good influences in my life, in particular my sister. So I have my one actual sister and 2 sisters in Chicago who every time I'd go to Chicago, they're like, no. You're in our town now. You're not going out dressed like this.
No way.
Because they wouldn't let me. They're like, we don't dress like this. You're not.
Wow.
And so the first thing we'd do is we'd go to Hollister and Aeropostale and American Eagle, and they'd basically buy me a whole new wardrobe for 2 weeks.
That's incredible.
That I was there, and they're like, this is the stuff that you need to wear. And it was nice because I started wearing things that actually fit me.
Yeah. It makes sense.
And I'm like, okay, this is nice. And so as I transitioned to university, I started paying more attention to fashion. Mostly because it was like, well, I'm in a new place. People don't know who I am. I want to look good.
Sure.
I also want to impress women, right?
Yeah.
That was a big part of it. And it's a big part of like my sales pitch is like, your significant other always wants to see you dress well, right? And vice versa. And so if I can basically sell anybody's significant other on their need for a stylist, it's like done deal, right?
That is genius.
Yeah, and so, I mean, through university, I kind of found myself experimenting with different styles, different cuts, different this, different that, formal, casual, whatever it may be. And somehow I was really lucky as well to have a lot of really good influences in my life. These influences lit some sort of fire inside of me that allowed me to go find this passion to create. And then, I mean, 4 years later, here we are now, right? So it's been quite, I mean, I can talk on hours about the story, but it's been quite a journey and a transition. That's why I love it so much. And that's why people close to me are like, this is so weird because we saw you when you were 16 and nobody saw this coming. And now you're here and it's a whole full transition. And I'm enjoying it mostly because it's a transition that most people go through. And I'm hoping that the story can help other people parallel at a younger age to that and know that the grass does get greener on the other side. That, you know, we all went through those awkward phases. We all went through this unknown phase, and now we're still slowly figuring ourselves out, but getting to a point in our lives where we're very comfortable with each other and with ourselves.
But you just summarized the entire interview. I have no more questions left. Thank you for your time. It's been on to season 3. Actually, I do have a lot of questions. This is really cool to me. When we talked on the phone, you mentioned that, you were like this. You were lucky that you were good looking, you were tall, you may not have had the confidence.
He said the good looking part.
You may not have had the confidence growing up, maybe built that through like sports. As you started dressing better, you felt more confident. I think it's cool because as you grew in confidence, you sort of started growing your brand. And you sort of like grew in that way. And as social media technology developed, you'll see a lot of Sardars out there that are doing things like dressing very sartorial, starting to model. But what I like about you is you have sort of like another purpose behind that. Yeah,
so I mean, going back to the original points of it, like I always tell people, you need to find a passion, something like that gives you that confidence to get up out of bed out of every day. And you know, for me, when I was younger and I didn't have fashion, it was sports. And so when I was on a soccer field or a basketball court, I was decent. I put a lot of work into it. And so at this point, I'm like, nobody can mess with me. Nobody can bully me, undervalue me, because I know that I'm a talented soccer player. I know that, I mean, I was the captain of my basketball teams. I was the captain of a lot of my soccer teams. I used to play at levels higher than my age group. And I'm like, at this point, I am Harjas Singh. Right? I don't look different. I don't have different values. It's soccer. And so that gave me that chip on my shoulder. And then fashion kind of became that bit of it. And so connecting this all back to the bigger picture with Styled by Harj is, when I started, it was just like, I want to be a stylist. I want to show the world that I dress well. And it's kind of cool, right? It's a whole different space. But the goal was a couple of different things. One was there's a lot of underrepresentation of South Asians within Western community. And I wanted to be I guess, one individual, one platform that allowed even one extra person who has the power to say yes to a role in the arts to be like, oh, this is interesting. Maybe I don't like this guy, but I can see another turban individual that can do this because he's kind of doing it, but this guy might not fit the role, but that guy does. And so it was all about getting the turban and beard out there. It's all about getting our face out there. If it was my face, your face, anybody else's, just out there so that we were more represented in this space. Again, because fashion was new to me, I didn't quite know what I was doing either, right? So it took some time, but I mean, that confidence boost that you get when you know you're really good at something is something that nobody else can take away from you. And so that allowed me to take more time to self-reflect and really find out who I was as an individual, what I wanted to do, and that message being, listen, I was really, really awkward. I was really weird. I didn't know who I was as a kid. But I still don't. I'm still learning something new about myself every single day. But I want people to know, and especially young Sardars that are questioning and very very confused about their upbringing, because it is a very confusing time for a lot of teenagers and stuff like that, that you need to surround yourself with the right people. And I'm hoping that my platform allows people to see that and tell that story that, we're different. It's going to be hard, but work through it and get through it. Find something that makes you more confident about yourself, and slowly work through those obstacles and be able to get through the hardships so that, you can actually enjoy being as different and as unique as you are.
I agree. And I've seen through your Instagram, you get a lot of kudos. from fans, friends, parents, everyone alike, where again, you're doing a great job of like, embracing your uniqueness, doing it in a cool way where like other people can also see it, and you're sort of bringing like Sardar's, like the Sikh culture, the millennials, to the limelight where, oh, like we are different, we stand out, but let's use that in like a unique way, and how can we propel that forward? You are a pioneer, and usually I start off my interviews with a question. This is the question I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
Ties or bow ties?
Both. I wish I could do bow ties more, but
Okay.
because of the lengths of our beards, it gets hidden.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
And so, I
yeah.
mean, we talked about this when we were styling you for the reception.
Oh, I want to talk about that too. We'll
yeah,
talk about
we'll talk about that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'm a big fan of oversized bow ties.
Okay.
I love just the space that they take up. I like the way they fall. I like the patterns of them. But the biggest issue is that I tie my beard up, but I still don't tie it high enough where I have to like walk around like this basically the whole night.
Sure.
Right. So I love both because I'm an accessory guy. Recently, actually, for some weird reason, I've actually gone away from doing any type of neckwear. Why?
Really?
I don't really know. When I go to receptions, I wear a lot of Mandarin collars, so I got a Mandarin collar on tonight.
Yeah, okay.
I'll either do a printed shirt rather than a tie. I don't know if it's just like convenience or trying to be different from. I'm always like, I mean, everybody shows up in a tie and pocket square these days, which is great. I still love the look. Don't get me wrong. But I like to set myself apart.
You do,
yeah.
and you play around with like more versatile, like, different things. Yeah.
So for the last like this whole wedding season, I don't think I wore a tie once to a reception, which is a little weird for me. I've never done it before, but I mean I enjoy it. Yeah, but both.
Both.
Both. Yeah.
Spoken like a true fashionista. You don't pick one or the other. Here's a question: what are your thoughts on Mickey Singh's suit without a shirt look? Did you see that?
So we were watching that yesterday.
That's wild.
I love Mickey Singh style.
Okay.
I love it. I definitely would have enjoyed that suit. Like his suit was really nice, and his outfits throughout the whole video were really cool.
Yeah.
But I think it just took away because he's got that tattoo, I think, here or something. I don't know what it was.
He does have a tattoo, correct.
That was just like, it took away from the actual outfit. And so for me, fashion is like, I want to see the whole, everything come together. And if there's one thing that's out of place, then it throws off everything. And I just felt that although he can pull off the look, it wasn't the right look with those outfits. And so I wish he kind of did like a full proper, like maybe done, just a shirt, but open up a few buttons and left it lower rather than doing the full shirtless look.
I like the analysis.
I don't know.
Who's one like mainstream artist, whether like a singer, performer, actor, whose style you admire?
Oh, Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars and JT.
JT, okay.
They're just, the reason I really like it is Bruno's is just like the creativity.
Yeah.
Right? It's just so out of this world. The reason I like both of theirs as well, along with like somebody like a David Beckham, they all kind of fit in this little bit of the sphere of they've got like such a variety to their fashion.
Sure.
And they look good in absolutely anything. So they could do street style, that business formal, casual, semi-formal, and then formal so well. And there's nothing that they don't do well. And they push that creativity, even if in a black t-shirt or in jeans, they still are creative with the boots, with the accessories, with whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And Bruno Mars, I mean, his on-stage presence and his on-stage outfits are just absolutely crazy.
That's a good point. Once upon a time, I wanted to have like David Beckham's body. I know we're talking about embracing our differences and all.
We're getting there.
He's like, you're a soccer player, right? I played peanut soccer when I was 8. And then I was always afraid of the ball. My parents were super athletes growing up, and none of us siblings are.
Okay.
So sorry.
Nobody got the genetics?
Dude, we didn't get the.
How?
Maybe like our kids will become like athletes. But yeah, like
generational gap.
yeah, we got other things. I got away with words. But yeah, like I admire like David Beckham's style. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate to have a lot of like fashion people on the show. It's good friends of yours, Vish, Vikram as well. What are some places that you like to shop at?
I realistically shop at like 3 or 4 different places.
Okay.
And I mean, like I said, we're lucky in a lot of ways where we're tall, we fit that normal kind of like average body, medium size, right?
Right.
But I mean, we work on our bodies. I know you go to the gym often. I'm at the gym like 5-6 times a week so that
I'm at the gym 3 times, full body.
Full body. That's not too bad.
My wife is like nodding her. She's like, dude, this guy is... She has Orange Theory. Why would someone spend 100... Okay, never mind.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Sorry, go back to the original.
Yeah, so there were many things we were talking about, but people like Vish and Vikram have also talked about places where they
shop. Yes. Lots Zara. Zara
yeah.
usually has everything. Reason being is their fit is great. Their creativity is great. Every single season they come up with something that's a must-have in your closet. Like
Yeah.
you can't go a season without buying something from Zara.
True.
And so a lot of like really cool. They push the button on men's fashion. I think that's the one thing that we're missing as men is that if you walk into like a Zara, you see a whole floor and a half of women's wear.
Dude.
And then like
Yeah.
the men's section and the baby section are
Is
equal
in the
sizes.
basement.
I'm like,
the way at the
how can
bottom.
babies wear more clothes than men can? But I mean,
They can't. Well, I mean, they can. Here's my thing. You go into a store, so I
Yeah.
get overwhelmed. I was telling Nigel this yesterday. I go into like Zara, I get overwhelmed because I'm like, I think everything looks cool.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I just picture Harjas in my head, and I'm like, okay, like he would look great in this outfit. Like he'd look good.
I appreciate that.
But how, like when you go into a store,
Yeah.
walk us through your thought process. Are you
So,
looking for something specific? How do you shop?
I mean, now that I've kind of built out my wardrobe, and this is it's like kind of a part of the pitch that I give a lot of individuals, is that as a stylist, when it comes to personal styling, I help you build a wardrobe. We don't just change it overnight because it's not possible. We look to understand your personality, understand what it is you're looking for, understand your lifestyle, and experiment and grow a wardrobe that reflects that. And so again, it's all about building from scratch. And so I've been building my wardrobe for the last 4 years. People think like when they see me, they're like, oh man, you're so lucky you have all these things, and it's just like it happened overnight. No,
Yeah.
I've been looking for things over and over. And so when I go into like a Zara, a Topshop, an H&M, a Club Monaco, Nordstrom, I look for specific things that I'm missing in my wardrobe, and so that I'm not continuously spending like thousands of dollars on
genius.
everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, for anybody that's listening, that's like, if we needed to start tomorrow,
Yeah.
I'd say focus on, like if you walk into Zara and you're like, okay, this is what I need. I said, focus on the one part of your life in terms of wardrobes that you need this wardrobe upgrade the most.
Okay.
Is it work? Is it casual? Are you doing it to impress family and friends, women, yourself, your manager? What is it? Is it really just for yourself? And what part of that does it fall in the formal wear, the casual wear, sportswear? What is it?
Yeah.
And then take that chunk. So say it's casual wear. Make sure you've got the basics, right? 2 pairs of jeans, a couple of nice t-shirts, a couple of buttons up, half sleeve, full sleeves, a sweater vest, so on and so forth. And then slowly just break it out.
Yep, true.
And then that makes it easier, right? If you walk into, it's like when we walk into like a Winners, Marshalls, I can't shop at those stores because I walk in, I'm just like, there are so many racks here.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Where do I? And that's a lot of the feeling that men get when they walk into any store.
Right.
Period, because they're like, there's 6 different jeans. Like, what do we do with it, right?
Exactly,
And so
yeah.
it's not that complicated. You just need to break it out. And I mean, that's why I kind of had that niche market. I was like, maybe I can create a business out of this,
Sure.
right? And so yeah.
So let's actually talk about your fashion consulting side. The full pictures from my wedding reception haven't been released, but I was fortunate enough to have Harjas style me. And I was like, you can ask anyone I was walking around, like, oh yeah, my stylist told me to wear this, my stylist told me to do this. And I was very happy, like very excited to have a stylist. And I appreciate the amazing, and I'll tell you, the people in the, so I shopped at Alton Lane, and Harjas like did his research beforehand. He told me like, all right, this place is credible. It's not like a gimmick. Make sure like they don't cost more than this much. Ask them what kind of material they have. They're gonna put my picture on the wall, and it's only because you helped style me, because in the DC area everyone wears like a navy blue tuxedo or like a gray suit. But the pattern that I had, they're like, we've never seen this in our life. And I'm like, yeah, my stylist helped me put it together. Talk us through your consulting side.
Yeah, well, first off, I'm really happy you were happy with the end product. There's a lot of work that went into that. So I was excited every time I got a call from Gurpreet. I'm like, yes, we're gonna talk about his tuxedo now.
And I gotta tell you again, I was like stressed out in the calls, like, hey, Harjas, do you have a time to
Yeah,
talk?
you really had like a full list. It was like, okay, this, and like, okay, we're good. Anything else? And then you'd call me like 10 minutes later. It's like a new list of
It's
things.
like, hey, lining colors.
Yeah.
What is that about? So you're very professional, obviously. You know your stuff.
Yeah, I mean, 4 years of it, right? I've been amateurly, so I don't call myself a professional stylist by any means. I didn't go to school for it. There's a lot of individuals that do go to school for it, have like certificates, and they're professionals. A lot of kudos to them.
Sure.
I was again lucky that I found a passion for it, and I decided to spend my free time learning about it and being a student of the world of fashion. And so going back, the way that the original idea for becoming a stylist and consultant originally came about was when I graduated university, I was lucky enough to kind of be in this field of fashion. So I was like experimenting with things. I was figuring out my own style. I can transfer my ability to like go to corporate, be in a suit, and then take that out in 10 seconds and be like out at a night out without the jacket and stuff. I can like convert one outfit into like 10 in 10 seconds, right? Like it's not hard. And so I was able to figure it out. But I had a lot of my friends being like, hey Harj, like we spent 4 years in sweatpants and now we got to go to corporate.
What do we
do? And then so I slowly again built out their wardrobes for them. I'm like, make sure you get these dress pants. You can like reuse these suits, right? You can use the jacket for this and these pants.
Yeah.
So on and so forth. And so we started creating cost-efficient wardrobes for them because we're all out of school and poor. And totally broke because we decided to not spend our money on paying our debt off and all decided to travel, which was great, by the way, and definitely like recommended. You'll be broke afterwards, but it's definitely worthwhile. And so a lot of my friends would contact me like, how do we do this? How do we do that? And then I had a couple of friends be like, what else can we do? So outside of pants, socks, and a button up, what else can we do? And so I'd put them in sweater vests. I'd get them in different style suits. I'd start experimenting with the color choices a little bit. And then I had another friend call me and like, hey Harj, I'm going on a date.
Oh.
It's the second date.
Second date, that's huge.
And she's like, I really like the girl. She's really fashionable, but I'm not. Like, I'm planning on wearing jeans and a t-shirt. He's like, what else can I do? So it was fall. Fall's a great season because you can layer on, you can layer off very easily. And so I got him into like a very nice long cardigan, a button up and jeans and like a pair of Chelsea boots. And he didn't know what any of these things were before that. He walked in, he calls me like at 12 o'clock at night. I'm like, why are you calling me at 12 o'clock? He's like, just finished the date. It went so well. She complimented me on the outfit. It was like, not that, I mean, he's a great guy. He would have done well without the outfit, but it was an added.
That's huge.
It was an add. And so I had that aha moment that night only where I was like, maybe I can create a business around this where I can help individuals experiment and really define their personal style based off of their personality. That's where it started. So I started doing a lot of personal styling. Used to do men's and women's. Stopped doing women's because women's fashion is a little complicating. There's a lot of choices, a lot of options. There is a lot more you have to take into consideration with body types and sizes as well that you don't necessarily have to. As a stylist as well, you need to cross personal spaces as well, and it's easier to do that with a man than it is to do with a woman that may be uncomfortable with a man doing that. So I left the women's space aside. I was like, let me focus on what I'm really good at. And so I did that for a little bit, would approach, honestly, men at events and so on and so forth that would like take appreciation of my outfits. And they'd be like, how can we? And I'm like, hey, by the way, I'm a stylist, right? So that's how it started. Slowly, I was lucky enough, my brother is in the wedding industry. And so all of a sudden, he got a call from him one day. He's like, I've got a groom I'm dealing with. His wife, and I mean, you know this, you just got married. A lot of South Asian brides are in the colors of the rainbow throughout multiple events. And it's beautiful, it's amazing, we love it. But traditionally, men that don't understand how to also get that color out of them end up in exactly what you just said, blue and black tuxes. Nothing wrong with it, James Bond, classy, beautiful, but there's a lot of men out there that have this colorful personality in them. The wedding is their one opportunity where like, we can do whatever we want. And so I got a call from this gentleman and he's like, my wife is wearing this like soft palette green, this, and this. He's like, what else can I do besides like blue and black? I'm like, well, there's a couple of things, right? We can do this. And so I had another aha moment where I was like, maybe if I form strategic relationships with accessory brands and suit brands, then I can bring all my clients in and, you know, it's a win-win-win-win-win. So slowly I started doing more wedding styling and it worked out nicely. And now, I mean, I don't market it big time, but as my clients see me on social media, whatever it may be, through word of mouth, I'm trying to build out a little bit more of that now.
Yeah, and again, it's impressive because I know people that dress well, but they don't understand like the fashion, like there's some kind of formula or like the science behind it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing when I started was one of my friends who's also very fashionable, she's like, you know how to dress well. But can you do this on somebody else who doesn't look like you and is not your same size? And so I've had opportunities to dress and style men of all different shapes, sizes, and ages as well. And I was able to, before I really started pushing myself as a stylist and consultant, understand that I could do that, and you know, somebody who's a little bigger boned understand that they can't fit into Zara sizes and fitted stuff, and so we have to get them actually in bigger sizes that complement certain parts of it and hide other parts of it, so on and so forth. People that are shorter, there's a lot of things that, you know, we're lucky we're like 6 feet tall, like that's a good height.
5'10" and a half.
Okay, well I'm 6'1".
5'10.72".
I was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt for the viewers, but
my mom says I have a tall personality.
There you go. It's a tall pug, right? With the pug, I tell everybody, with the like, they're like, how tall are you? I'm like, with the pug or without the pug?
It makes a difference.
I mean, yeah, because like where this height is here, pug is here, so that's like a nice inch.
When I was in 6th grade, people used to measure me at my Judas height.
Yeah.
And obviously you had a lot more hair.
When we were in 6th grade, our drawers were this big, and now they're like this big because I'm balding. I don't know about you. But
thankfully, we get to wear puggies on our heads.
Exactly.
So no one can ever know.
It's great that way. But yeah, so the business slowly, through word of mouth, did really well. I had opportunity to do a couple of photo shoots, video shoots as well. And so slowly just trying to establish myself as a consultant and stylist in the space for personal wedding and project-based stuff as well.
Let's talk a little bit. You mentioned you've done some shoots. You've done some really cool shoots, like commercial shoots with companies like Nike, Nordstrom. Walk us through those experiences.
So, I mean, Nordstrom being the biggest of them, I still can't put that into words. Like people always like, oh, what was the feeling? And I'm still in awe to have had that experience.
Yeah.
So in 2018 was a magical year. I had, from the moment it started, January was the first opportunity to walk in Toronto Fashion Week.
Toronto Fashion Week.
I mean, I think there was one other Sadar maybe that has walked it before.
Yeah.
Besides, like they had the celebrity walks where people like Humble and Jagmeet have had opportunities to do it. But like actually for a brand, there hasn't been too many. And so that happened right off the bat. That was crazy.
Yeah.
February or March, I got a message from Ben Sherman. Ben Sherman was expanding into Canada. They don't have the biggest reputation and biggest platform in Canada yet, but worldwide, Ben Sherman is a massive brand.
Huge,
and so they reached out to me. They're like, "Hey, can we collaborate with you, do an influencer bit?" I'm like, "This is great."
Nice.
So Ben Sherman happened, and then we had a couple of like small things here and there. That was great. Fast forward to August or July. July was when I first got the message. Nordstrom Canada was, they were casting for in specific, and so this is why we got lucky as well to an extent, a fashionable Sikh male. They wanted to show the diversity of Canada, and part of that was showing our South Asian culture. And so the funny thing was the agency the talent agency that was responsible for finding the talent, she actually sent me a Facebook message. Now, I'm not friends with her, so it went to my requested. I don't know what my requested Facebook Messenger
10,000
like.
people.
I don't see it ever, right? It's not like social, like Instagram, where it's there and it's like, okay, you have 9 new requests or something like that.
Sure.
I don't even know where it pops up in Facebook. So, and the name was something that I didn't recognize, so I was like, I'm not going to look at this. 2 days later, I get an email, and I'm like, this name looks really familiar. And I start scrambling because I'm reading this email, and they're like, we're on a tight deadline. We need you to come in for an audition. I'm like, uh-oh. And so I quickly go to the Facebook message, found the requested, opened it up, and she's like, hey, Nordstrom's casting. They want to cast you for an audition. Like, can you? And I'm freaking out because I'm like, this is 48 hours later. I'm not going to get a chance to do it now.
Wild.
Luckily, I got through the weekend. It was also Friday. That's why I was freaking out. I'm like, I'm not going to get a hold of her. She's like, come in Monday morning. We'll do it. And so the first audition was really funny. I don't know if you've auditioned for a few things. You've had your faces on
LinkedIn.
That was really cool. So I saw it and I was like, this is really interesting because there's so many professionals that are on this space.
Yeah.
And now to see a professional Sadar.
I will say my parents are proud of me because they're like, oh, cool. Like he looks like a businessman if he's not really. I like yours because you being in the fashion space, your brand is also fashion related, and you're like doing stuff for Nordstrom. Like that's really cool.
It was, I mean, honestly, a dream come true. When we first got the email, they'd actually put Nordstrom in brackets as in there's a big company, Nordstrom. So they didn't confirm that it could be or could not be Nordstrom.
Right.
But still really cool. And so the first audition was really funny. I don't know how yours went for LinkedIn, but we walked into a room. Honestly, like drove an hour and a half to get there.
Oh my gosh.
And we sat around for a little bit. They come up to us 5 minutes before. They're like, so we're gonna make you do a couple of runway walks. Just state your name. Oh yeah, by the way, we're gonna make you dance.
Oh, hey.
I'm like,
yes.
And so everybody just stops and is like looking at each other. And I'm like, I love dancing.
Heck yes.
So this is not an issue for me. But I'm like, this was like, people were stressing. Like I started seeing people sweat because they're like, we're gonna have to, dance
break
on
it
the
down.
spot, right?
Yeah.
So whatever, we walk in. It was very awkward because I think the space was from like here to like where the camera is right now.
Okay.
Very small.
Yeah.
So being like 6 feet, that's one step.
Not so much
And
space.
so I go to like where I think this X is, that this is like marked an X.
Right.
And they're like, can you do a runway walk? I'm like, you're like 2 feet away from me.
You're crawling?
And so I like quickly like stepped back and like bumped into the back. I don't know, it was a pitch black room. I'm like, this is not going well. So I did a 1-2. I'm like, this is all I can do. She's like, it's fine. Can you walk backwards?
Yeah.
Started walking backwards, ran into something again because it's legit pitch
no
black.
space. Yeah.
There's one light on you. I don't even know who's there. there. Nobody could be there for that matter. There's a screen with your face on it, that's about it, but you can't look up there and look at the screen while you're walking this way. And so did it, they're like, can you do another one with a smile? Did it, and then they asked for, I think, name, age, and height, something along those lines.
Right.
And they're like, okay, we're gonna play some music. I'm like, great, cool. I've kind of got like a routine in my head of just like how I'm gonna move. And I mean, I love dancing, like I said. So
Show us real quick. What kind of dance moves? What's your go-to?
No.
Whoa, the chest must. Hey.
No.
Hey.
That is not the go-to, but I mean, it was
just like something like you're at a discotheque.
Yeah. Just start pulling, one of these out. Yeah. That would have been hilarious though if I really did that, and just to see how they would have reacted. Anyways, the issue was they playing this like very slow 70s, 80s song. I've never heard it in my life. It was not modern day. And I'm like, okay, how do I do this? So whatever, I start moving to it. That wasn't the hard part. The harder part was they're like, pretend you're at a club with your friends and you're like just going nuts. And I'm like, to this? Like,
to this music.
How? And so I kind of zoned them out and just like threw on, I was at a wedding the night before, so I threw on like the first Punjabi song that came in my head. Yeah, and I was just like going crazy and like this, jumping around, and they're like, okay, cool.
Go.
And they're like, you can leave now. A total of 5 minutes.
Yeah, wow.
And I said 3 words to them, 2 of them being my name and 1 of them being my height. Like, not like nothing else.
Right.
I'm like, okay. And so I walk out, I'm like, do you need anything else from us? Like, no. I'm like, I came an hour and a half for 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So I'm like talking to the talent agency rep, and she's like, give it some time, take a week or 2. I'm like, okay, cool, whatnot. And then they called me back. They're like, hey, so would you be comfortable playing the role of a father? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And so that little girl in the first campaign was actually my make-believe daughter.
Yeah.
The most adorable little girl ever. I don't know about you, but when I was 2-3 years old, I couldn't speak a word of English. Forget like trying to.
I don't
act.
think I was that smart.
I could barely speak. I mean, I was a little slow growing up too, so that was part of it. I couldn't you couldn't leave me in a room for more than 10 seconds without me like destroying everything. Like if you left me here at the age of 3, everything would be broken right now.
I'm glad you're not 3 anymore.
Yeah, you're welcome. This is really expensive to pay for it. And so like they come in and they're so calm. I think I auditioned with 4 or 5 2-3-year-old girls. One of them started crying right away. I like to think it wasn't my fault. Like 1 out of 5 was pretty good, right? Like I got 4 of them that were really comfortable. They started playing with my beard right away. It was really cute. And I'm like, man, at the age of 2 or 3 to be able to like be this like relaxed, calm,
professional.
Just like so presentable.
Wow.
I'm like, it was amazing. So had that opportunity. Mine went really well. So like I said, 4 of the 5 girls were amazing, super talented. And then long story short, went a little back and forth, and then finally they're like, we like you. We actually really love one of the girls that you were with as well. So it's the perfect match. And then we did this first one, and the shoot was really cool. You're a celebrity. Like there's a cabin for you. You have people doing anything you need. Like if I needed them to like just like feed me the food, they would feed me the food. Like
give
it was
me a
crazy.
Dorito.
Yeah, please, just one with this much guac on it. Like anything. It was crazy. And so it was a really cool experience. The hard part was the first time we shot it. It was in August, 40 degrees. On a streetcar without air conditioning.
Oh my God.
And I don't know if you remember the outfit, but I was in tracks.
It was like sort of bigger. Okay.
Yeah, the amount of sweat. And so we had the makeup team there. They kept, every time we like shot in and out, they like dabbing us up. And she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, see, there's issue with beards where there's sweat underneath my beard right now that you can't touch up.
It's really uncomfortable.
And so it was like a little uncomfortable, but very, very cool experience.
Yeah,
and then,
hold on. So I'm from America. I'm from US. 40 degrees, 40 times 9/5. It's 80 plus 32. So it's like 100 plus, more than 100.
Yeah, it was a hot day.
Wow.
Very hot day. And we were supposed to have a streetcar with air conditioning.
Oh
and
my
so,
God.
this is fine. And then we get the oldest streetcar possible.
Yeah,
so
like you're wearing super heavy. But like that was a commercial print.
Yeah, so
really,
it was
really
TV, nationwide TV, nationwide out-of-home advertising as well, which basically included bus stands, billboards, and a lot of social media stuff.
Yeah,
so very, very cool experience. And then on top of that, they contact me a month later and they're like, hey, we actually want to do a holiday shoot with some of the same people in the same team. Would you be interested? They flew me out to Vancouver.
That was amazing.
Absolutely amazing. Had so much fun shooting that. Got to see Vancouver at the same time. And the team at Nordstrom is absolutely amazing. They're wonderful people. They have a great business. And it was just, like I said, when I went the first time and saw the billboard of myself, it was at Dundas Square, which is like one of the biggest billboards in Canada. It was just like, I had goosebumps. I almost cried. Like it was a very, very surreal feeling. It still is, and I have a lot of people to thank, like a lot of people like you did it. I'm like, honestly, this is not, and I'm sure you can attest to this as well. We don't get to where we are. We don't have this opportunity to sit here without a lot of people doing what we did before us
Absolutely.
in this space or in other spaces.
Yeah.
And our parents being pure professionals at, coming here as immigrants and setting us up to be able to do this type of stuff. So.
Man,
very
that's
cool.
And I remember seeing your Insta stories where you were just like retweeting or re-Instagramming like all these people's stories, and I was just so proud, excited for you. Like that seemed, well, the commercial print shoots that I do, they're less like fashion oriented, right? So for me, it's like, oh, I'm not like representing the Gurpreet Sarin brand. I'm kind of just like wearing whatever they want me to dress up. But for you, it's like, dude, like you get to be.
That was a really cool thing. Like I actually 2 days before when we did the fitting, they're like, we have our stylist, but they knew I was a stylist, and they're like, what would you like to wear? And I'm like, they actually gave me a lot of input with a lot of the stuff. It was really cool because when I went to Vancouver, I'm like, so what turban do I bring with me? And they're like, oh my god, they don't think about it. They never shot with a Solar before.
Correct.
I don't know if you saw that snap, but I had a suitcase. And the whole top of the suitcase was just 20 bucks.
Top bucks, yeah.
And so I land, and they call me up to like come to the room for the fitting. They're like, bring your turbans. I'm like, I'm just gonna bring my whole suitcase. They're like, no, just bring your turbans. I'm like, you'll understand. I show up and I pop it open, and it's just like every single, and they started laughing because we didn't know what I was wearing yet.
You know,
and
so
it was a very cool experience for them to learn a lot about us too. But I mean, to be able to model for a fashion company, being a fashionista, being in the space that I am was a very cool experience. But I mean, the ideas again is all about representation. It's all about having those opportunities in that platform, be it me, be it you, be it anybody else. Bish Bikram here, Sukhman in Toronto as well. Worldwide, so many Solars doing amazing things. Is that as they do it, the more opportunities that will come for us, and vice versa. And I mean, again, the reason I was actually really surprised and happy with the LinkedIn one was, again, going back to that point where you're a face for a company that houses and is a platform for millions of professionals. And so I tell people this all the time when I do interviews. They're like, how does it feel to be in this position? I'm like, I'd only be in this position because our parents came as immigrants, and they set up themselves as honest, hardworking, white and blue collar professionals. Or entrepreneurs. And so they became a part of a society and a network of individuals where they were trusted and they were valued, and because of that, we were then able to go into politics and do the same thing in politics, and then in arts, and then slowly in different fields that now gave us an opportunity today to be like, okay, so if everybody's experimented with all this stuff, let's experiment with something else. Let's experiment with song and writing and instruments. Let's experiment in the fashion field when it hasn't been done too often. And so I give a lot of thanks to all the hard work and those baby steps that were taken and those building blocks that were formed, because without that we would still be in that same position of we can't tackle this field. It's not
of course. And another thing I like about you, along with like a lot of people in like the sort of like millennial Sikh or urban Desi community, is that we understand our roots, we understand where we came from, and we're sort of like humbled by that. When I spoke to you on the phone, you were talking about how like, hey, I'm Harjas Singh on Instagram. I'm styled by Harj, who like, you got 7,000 plus Instagram followers. Like when I air this episode, you'd be like 30,000 followers.
Let's hope so.
Like 40 to 50 comments per post. So like you are sort of seen as this like pioneer, this idol. But sitting at you on the sofa, you're a person. You're a regular human being.
I mean, I still, again, I tell a lot of people, even last night, I'm like, I never saw this happening, right? The game plan was never to be in this position. So the fact that I'm in this position is just a bonus for me, right? Like it's if I set out 5 years ago, be like, I'm going to become a superstar model, then it'd be, that's who Harjas Singh is as well. But Harjas Singh is, I'm an entrepreneur, right? I run my dad's parents' business. We have an import distribution business. It's totally different hats from the fashion. Like 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, I'm legit in sweats and a t-shirt, like covered in dust in the back of my warehouse, selling rice. Like it's amazing. It's wicked, and it's a great balance. But because I never saw myself in this position, when people tell me they're a fan of me or they look up to me or anything along those lines, I still get goosebumps. I still get taken back because again, I didn't see myself in this position ever, and so it's a very wonderful position to be in, but a very continuously new position that I'm in, because again, every time it happens, it's still like, oh my God, this is actually reality.
Absolutely.
Right? So,
what's one piece of advice for someone that you have for someone who like has maybe a regular like 9 to 5 job, sort of conventional career, also has like a side gig or a hobby or wants to pursue that. You're doing something similar, obviously successfully in both. What is like one piece of advice?
So I mean, I did a podcast recently with somebody in Toronto, and they were asking, you know, I was on with another friend of mine, and she's also kind of the serial entrepreneurial lifestyle as well, and they're like, you guys hustle, like you guys are always on, you're always grinding, working 7 days a week, you have your hands in multiple things. How can you do that? Yeah. And the reason I can do 3 or 4 different things well today is because I've taken the last 3 or 4 years to become as close to a professional in it as possible. Sure. And so, for example, if you were to call me up, right, and like you did for your outfit, and like, Harj, I need this, and any other client for that matter would call me up, I know I can put half an hour towards that, and that's all I need is that half an hour, get it done, get you what you need, and I'm done. And then I go back to whatever else I have to do. And that whatever else, so say it's my dad's work, over the last 3 to 4 years that I've been working with him full time, I've learned enough of it where it's like, okay, I'm a professional, whatever task comes my way, I can get it done. Nice. Now with the styling consulting, with my dad's work, with modeling, okay, got to do a photo shoot. How long is it going to take me to prep? Photographers, videographers, space, theme, so on and so forth. Okay, I've done it enough now, I've become a professional at it that I know it's not going to take me 4 hours to do something that's going to take me 20 minutes. Right. And so that's what I would tell people is that always have your base, right? So I went to school, I got my education. I had multiple options for corporate or to take over my dad's business, and so I had a base. Yeah. Don't lose sight of that base because we live in this world, the social media world. We become famous tomorrow. You can go on Instagram and anybody can become famous, right? It takes a lot of hard work, but there's a lot of opportunity. Correct. And so I tell a lot of the youth, a lot of people that are in this space, have a foundation, have something that you can fall back on, right? That is steady. And then start experimenting. And if that goes well, then leave the steady behind and go full-fledged. And so I got my education, got a full-time job, had a base, and then I started experimenting with fashion. And that's what I would tell people is get a base, have that foundation. Yeah. But then as you start figuring out that you want to do something in your passion, get really good at it. True. Start learning more about it. Before you just jump into it, know that you're 60-70% well-versed in that topic. You don't have to be perfect off the bat. That's why I keep a lot of my pictures, actually. A lot of people ask me, like, you should clean up your Instagram. I'm like, I'm never going to clean it up because I want to go back and be able to see like those silly shoots that I've done, the transition. I want people to see that so that they understand that this was the beginning and that it took 3 years to get, 7,000 followers. Great, I love it. I'm so happy that I have that, but it's not that big. Sure. It's not a big deal in the span of what people are doing in social media today. But again, we all started from somewhere, and it took me 3 years to become a professional. Makes sense. And that's what I would tell people is pursue it, learn it, and then if you want to share it with the world, be good enough at it that you're not wasting excess time at it so that you can actually do your full-time job, pursue your education, and then pursue your passion at the same time.
How did you choose your name, Styled by Harj?
Funny enough, honestly, I was up at 1 o'clock at night one night, couldn't sleep. I'd had this thought in the back of my mind for a while. I'm like, I think my handle before was like Harjas.Singh, something like that. Okay. And so I started just like, I'm like, you know what, if I'm gonna do this was after maybe the first 3 or 4 posts I'd put up, people started being like, oh shit, you're doing this, you're actually doing this. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what you're talking about. But they saw something and I'm like, all right, cool. And so I started staying up, I'm like, the bearded bow tie, I don't know why. There's a whole bunch of. You had the Terminator on yours, right? I was like something to do with the Terminator and fashion.
Right. Oh, like these are different names you're thinking.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, let's change it. But then I'm like, I messaged. I think somebody was up at the time. I was talking to them. I was sending them messages back and forth, and like, I think you should keep your name somehow tied in there. So when people approach you and like call you the bearded bow tie, they know that's right? Or like if my name was bearded bow tie, somewhere in my name it actually would be, right? You know what I mean?
Correct.
So I was like, okay, how do I keep Harj just saying something in there so that when people see my Insta name, they actually know that I'm also, that's my actual, as close to my actual name that you can get, right? Okay. So it actually started off with style with Harj or style by Harj. Oh. Okay. And so that basically meant like you're styling with me, right? Like it's style with Harj. Makes sense. Style together. By Harj. It's my style that I'm showing. Okay. And then I had a hashtag styled by Harj. So all my clients would get styled by Harj because now you're styled by Harj. Yeah. And so I sat there with my brother one day and I was like, this is the game plan I'm going through with. And he's like, no, you can't do this. Your hashtag and your name have to be the same so that it grows. And so I was like, okay, at that point I thought I was going to focus more at styling consulting than actually being a content creator. So I was like, it's going to be styled by Harj, and that's kind of, And then actually, funny enough, I didn't love it. I still don't love it.
Oh,
but
no.
everybody, like the weekend after I changed it, I went to an event and everybody was like, hey, it's styled by Harj. I'm like, oh, this caught on really quickly. And so my brother's like, can't change it now, maybe down the road. But now I love it.
Yeah, dude.
I wanted to get a little bit more creative with it, but most people in the fashion industry now know me as Harj, or they'll straight up say, you're styled by Harj.
That is dope.
So it caught on.
If you could describe the Styled by Harj brand in one word, what would that word be?
One word. I get asked this often. I still get stumped. So there's a company by the name of Anokhi. Anokhi translates to unique.
Unique.
And so the reason I like that word, as general as it may be, is because if you look at my resume, my life resume, as alike as we are, right, both looks-wise and drive-wise, there's nobody else in the world like me.
Yeah.
And the reason I can say that is because my upbringing was very different, not growing up in a traditional South Asian community,
right.
Being an athlete, having my parents' business throughout their whole life. I actually studied biology.
You studied biology?
Yeah, so I was supposed to become a doctor. That didn't really happen. All my internships were in BD and sales, so I had the opportunity to work for the likes of Microsoft Canada, really big tech startups, Petro-Canada, so Suncor Energy, which is one of the biggest oil companies in Canada as well. And so I did all that, and then I actually had a chance to work with my dad for a term as well, where I went to India and saw all the back end of our business. And then I joined my dad's business. And now I have a fashion business, and now I've done all it. So I want people to embrace their difference, and so that's what I did. I was different. I let it show, and now it doesn't matter if you have a turban, doesn't matter if you have specific religious pieces, or it's just whatever it is. There's something different about you. There's something very Anokhi, very unique about you. Find that and sell the shit out of that, because that's what I did, right? When going back, before I even found fashion, I went into an interview with Microsoft. I always tell a lot of kids this, was everybody showed up in like black suit, black tie, blue suit, blue tie. So I showed up in a charcoal gray suit, blue checkered shirt, blue tie, blue pug, and it was like coordinated, right? Brown belt, brown shoes, it was like clean. I was like, really loved the look. I actually ended up spending 20 out of those 30 minutes talking about fashion with the recruiter.
That is incredible.
Right? And so these are the things that I try, as simple as that word is, as unique. Look at the story, look at my story, look at your story, and try to really take that out of yourself. And it takes surrounding yourself with the right people, because like I said, somebody and multiple people lit a fire within me to go pursue my passion in fashion. Even in my passion for sports, somebody had lit that early on, most likely my parents at some point, to go and be good at it. And
many more questions, but two final things I want to know.
Yes.
You're single and ready to mingle. There's a cue there for all the ladies.
Yes, thank you, Gurpreet. Yes.
Yes, done.
I am single. Yes.
Yeah, by choice, obviously.
By choice. Yeah. The goal is right now. There's a couple of things I'm working on in the fashion space. Those are becoming my baby. I have to obviously tell my parents that they can trust me to take over their business so that they can fully retire. And so I'm just, focusing on that right now, focusing on myself, my body, mind, reflection, because this takes a lot of toll. It takes a big toll on you. I actually came to New York, we were talking about this, to relax.
You came to New York to relax?
It was supposed to be a 3 to 4 day getaway. It was very easy because I've got friends here, family here. I didn't need to book a place to stay, didn't need to worry about anything, was just book your flight, come on over. Within these 3 days that I've been here, I landed on Thursday. Thursday night I had a shoot. Friday morning I had meetings all day. Friday night I was at an event. Saturday morning we were at a shoot, multiple. Saturday night I was at an event, and today I'm here. So as much as I'm gonna go home tired, which wasn't the point of this, I actually, if you look at my last post on Insta, this actually now inspires me and motivates me to keep chugging. Yeah, I've lost a little bit of sleep, but the sleep will catch up at some point. I'll take a day off at home and just sleep, but I'm actually feel so much more inspired just meeting the right people, being in these spaces, having the opportunity to shoot with different creatives, and now I'm actually on another high. As much as I'm tired right now, to continue to get where I need to get. And so once I get there, then I will flip switches, because obviously mom and dad will love you for putting that in the video. Will be like, yeah, we love Gurpreet. We've never met him before, but we love him. So they
real
will
quick. What exciting upcoming projects do you have?
I don't want to say too much right now, so I won't. There's a lot of focus on the longevity of Styled by Harj. And so what I mean by that, and I'm very happy to say it, and a lot of people are like, oh, why do you say it this way? Styled by Harj, again, was a young, lost, confused fashionista who found the space.
Yeah.
Over the years, I mean, I'm as I get older and maybe tune out of this space a little bit because it's for the youth, it's for the fun and colorful, and as you get older, you kind of have less time for it. I'm hoping that somebody will come and slowly replace me. There'll be a early 20-year-old that has looked for me, looked for you, to you, Vish, Bikram, whoever it may be, for this inspiration and started this, and now we'll take that space and that market share and do it right. And honestly, that's the goal of this, right? The goal of this is to inspire people to be that confident with themselves that they can continue to do it as well. And if I can do that, and somebody's like, "You made me do that," that's a win in my books. And so for the longevity of me within the fashion industry, say for example, I get zoned out a little bit, which is fine. People get bored of liking my pictures.
People will never get bored of Harj.
Social media is that way, right?
Fair
like
enough.
you get bored of people very quickly. You gotta continue to give them a reason to be like, yes, we're gonna continue to follow you. And so at some point, if that happens, I still want to have my hands in the fashion industry.
Absolutely.
And so again, without saying too much, on the consulting and styling side, being able to continue to have a business there that allows me to, form a team of consultants that I can work with, where I can go and reach more people now and actually, do this properly. And then, on a branding side, be able to take Styled by Harj to a level either directly or indirectly, where I can, do more stuff in the fashion space as well.
That is incredible. Where can everyone find you on social media?
So social media, you can find my love for butter chicken on my website, styledbyharj.com. Most of my stuff is all on Instagram, so at Styled by Harj, STYLED, because everybody misses the D there. Cause
I missed it the first time too.
Yeah, everybody does.
Yeah, Styled
by Harj. So most of my stuff is there. You can contact me there. Anybody that is watching this, a lot of people are hesitant sometimes to reach out because, again, they put us on this pedestal, which we don't deserve. Everybody deserves to be on their pedestal because they're doing things in their own spaces. They just might not. We get noticed because it's the lights, camera, action. Actually, like lights, camera, and we're in action right now. But there's a lot of people that are doing amazing stuff behind the scenes, and they deserve that same pedestal. And so my point to this is, if you ever have any questions, do not hesitate to DM me. Within 24 to 48 hours, I usually check all of mine. I like to have open conversations. Over the last month, I've had so many conversations with the most random people that I never thought to, male, female, elders and youngsters that are just interested about South Asian culture, that are young Sikhs, that are interested about the story, anything along those lines. A lot of people asking, how do you tie your pug and beard and this and that. So DM me, let me know. I'm there, I'm open. And yeah, any way I can help. And any way I can help you in the future, please do let me know.
Well, in a year, I'm going to have my wedding anniversary, so I might need Styled by Harj to serve.
We got it.
Harj, thank you again for coming to this episode.
Thank you
it's
for
been
having
a
me.
pleasure chatting with you about everything fashion and life. And thank you everyone for tuning in to another episode of Gupshup with Gurpreet Sarin. I will see you in 2 weeks. Hey there! Thank you again for tuning in to Gupshup with Gurpreet Sarin. I am happy that you watched till the very end of the video. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also, make sure to check out the audio version of the podcast on Apple, Google, and Spotify podcasts. Also, make sure to check out the IGTV for some behind the scenes action where I will be posting some interactive things with my guests. Thank you again so much for tuning in to another episode of Gupshup with Gurpreet Sarin. I will see you next Wednesday.